Because, look, I actually think that Peter Dutton performed very well in that debate. I think it was his sharpest performance compared to the one on the ABC last week where he did look more stressed, more nervous, even though I thought that was good. But the thing for Peter Dutton now is he needs some knockout blows. There's only 2 weeks left of the campaign. He now has to come firing on all fronts because the polls are against him. There are a lot of disillusioned voters out there. The soft vote is higher than ever. And he needs to try and convince those voters to come over to his side. He performed very well. The question is that going to be enough now to convince the disillusioned voter, to convince the undecided voter? I'm not so sure. Again, Albanese showed his true colours tonight when it came to the cost of living. It goes to show he really, in the last 3 years, hasn't quite got a grasp on what the cost of living crisis is. My standout moment of this debate, though, was when the leaders were both asked about would you preference another party? And this is what they said. Have a look at this.
Will you do a deal with minority parties, Prime Minister?
No.
Mr Dutton?
Not with the Greens, but with independents. And that's not a truthful answer from the Prime Minister there.
Yes, it is.
It's not. The Labor Party will fall over themselves to do a deal with the Greens. That's the reality.
It's just
you preference them. They preference
an untruth put forward by Peter.
Well, we obviously know that Anthony Albanese is lying here because the polls say it's likely to be a minority Labor, Greens and Teal's government, a couple of Teals scattered in here and there. Anthony Albanese will definitely do a deal with the Greens when push comes to shove. We saw it back in the Gillard era. It was a disaster back then, but this brand of Greens is even more dangerous. They are a disaster for this country, and we can rest assured that Anthony Albanese, despite his ducking and weaving on the issue, he will do a deal if he has to, James.
I'm sure he will. What's fascinating, and you made the point, Peter Dutton's got, 10 days left of this campaign. He's got to come out firing, and this to me is the fascinating part of tonight's debate and the next week and a bit going forward. Peter Dutton has to nail Anthony Albanese, but the problem he has is people are put off by his hard man image. So he's trying to sell himself as soft and as relatable and as a guy that we would all warm to. But it's very hard to maintain that image while nailing the Prime Minister as a liar and a fraud. And you saw that in the clip that you played earlier, Liz, where he's accusing Anthony Albanese of not being able to lie straight in bed. But he's just not that convincing because instead of going really hard, you feel like he's pulling his punches because he knows he can't come across as a hard man. Richard Marles, the Deputy Prime Minister, made the point after the debate that Dutton had come across as aggro, and it's very clear what the Labor Party are going to do. Anthony Albanese accused Peter Dutton of being personal and launching abuse at him during the debate. So Dutton's got this problem. He's got to really nail Anthony Albanese as deceitful and as a liar, and that's surely Albanese's weakness in the electorate. $275 power decrease. We all know that was a lie. But how does he make that point forcefully enough while still being a good guy who's not the tough image that so many voters are rejecting? The leaders were asked what they admired about each other, which is always an interesting way of gauging not only their relationship, but how gracious they are. Here's the response.
What are 3 things you admire about him?
3. Look, we
only ever prepare for one. This is a problem.
Let me say this: he bats way above his average with Kirralie. He has a terrific family. I've had the privilege, and he clearly cares about them, and that's a terrific thing. Longevity in politics. We've been in Parliament for basically the same amount of time, almost. Both been there for more than 20 years. That's an achievement.
Acknowledge the Prime Minister's support of AUKUS from opposition, and it wasn't an easy outcome, as he pointed out. He was satisfied that nuclear energy was safe, but he got that through the caucus, which was a difficult thing. And AUKUS, when we negotiated it, it was about underpinning our security for the next century.